Welcome to Know It Now. This short movie will show you how to make a robot using the Shapes tool in Microsoft PowerPoint. The first thing that you need to do is right-click on your desktop, scroll down to New, and we go to the little orange and white icon with the words Microsoft Office PowerPoint Presentation next to them, and double-click left. Now, left-click where the print is, and I'm going to call this My Robot. Now, double left-click to open your presentation. Click to add first slide. Go over to the word with the capital L, Layout, go to the little blue button, left-click and scroll down to blank and left-click. Now we're ready to begin. Now, the first I need to insert shapes, so I go to Insert, Shapes, and I'm going to do my body shape first, so I go down to the cylinder and left-click. Left-click and drag to make your shape, and that is going to be my robot's body, and I'll position it in the middle so I've got room for the head, the arms and the legs. Now if I go over to the positive and negative over here, I can zoom in on my slide, which makes it easier for me to do my picture. Now I'm going to go to this little green circle and turn my shape upside down, because I want this part at the bottom of my body. Now I go back into Shapes and I'm going to select again a cylinder for my robot's head. Click and drag, lift up a bit, across. Alright, I might actually go to the negative sign and zoom out a bit so it's easier for me to work. Now I need a neck to connect the head and the body, so back into Shapes, and this time I'm just going to choose a rectangle, left click. That should do the trick. And I left click and drag and put it into position. Now at this point, if I left click on the head and then right click, I can go to click on bring to front so the neck doesn't look out of place. And again I left click on the body, then right click twice and click on bring to front. Cool. Now I'm going to do my robot's arms. So I go to Shapes, and this time I'm going to go to select the cube. So I left click and I left click and drag, and I'm going to go to this green circle, left click and rotate it down and move the arm over here. Now I'm going to my keyboard and I'm selecting Control C, which is copy, and then Control V, which is paste, so that my arms are identical. Again I'm going to the green circle and there's my arm in its position. I'm going to right click twice and send to back, and I'll do the same with this one. Send to back. My robot's looking okay. Now I wish to create the second part of my robot's arm, so I go back to Shapes and I'm going to select a cube again. This time left click and drag, go to the green circle and now left click and drag I'm actually pretty happy with that. What I'm going to do, first of all, I will go to Control C, Control V, and then move this over here and use the green circle to position this part of my robot's arm. I can go to the arrow keys on the keyboard to be more accurate with my placement. Now, I'm going to put little bolts on the arms so that they look like they really are connected. So I'll go down to this circle and I will left click and drag. Now I'll left click and drag to position it, and so that the circle on this arm is exactly the same size as the circle on this arm, I am going to Control C, Control V, copy and paste it, and then left click and drag it to its rightful position. And again, I'll use the arrow key to bring it down a little bit and up. That looks like it's the best that I can do. Right, now I'm going to work on my robot's eyes. So I go to Shapes and I look for a shape that I want for my robot's eyes. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to select the shape, and left click on that, left click and drag. I want big eyes, and now I'm going to go to Control C, Control V, copy and paste so that my eyes are the same size. This has to be flipped. So now I go up to Drawing Tools and I left click on Format, and then I go all the way over to here. This word with the capital R is Rotate. Left click on the little arrow and I'm going to flip it horizontally. Left click and drag, and that's the start of my robot's eyes. I'm going to use the arrow key, okay, and now I want circles in the middle of those eyes. So Insert, Shapes, Circle, left click and drag, nice, Control C, Control V, left click and drag. My robot's looking okay. I want something on the top of the robot's head, so I go to Shapes and I'm going to select this shape here because I want it to look like half of a button. So I'm going to have to go to the circle, left click and drag, and there I need the arrow key. There we go. And now for my robot's legs. I'm going to scroll over here and do a couple of clicks. That's enough. Shapes. The shape for the robot's legs will be this. Now I'll start the construction here, and I need to go to this circle and flip it around. Now I'm going to go Control C, Control V and make this shape slightly larger and put it into position. Use the arrow key, left click and drag. Now Control C, Control V, drag, make it a little bit bigger and a little bit longer, maybe a tiny bit smaller. Okay, and this one up the top I'm going to make longer. And I'm going to make this a little bit narrower. So I'll need to use the left arrow. do. Now, this is open, this shape, it's highlighted with the square around it. I go to my shift button, hold it down, left click, I now right click, left click, group. Now I can make my legs smaller. I can left click and drag, and I can turn the leg a little bit. Now I'm going to Control C, Control V. That's my second leg. I'm going to use the arrow key to put that leg into the right spot. And now we are up to the feet. So up to shapes, and we look for the right shape. And I'm going to this shape here, and I'm going to left click and drag and turn that a little bit, left click and drag, Control C, Control V, move this one over here, use the green circle, and there's my robot, except that I haven't got hands, and I want the eyes to be slightly larger and slightly larger again. I'm liking that. I'm going to put them up a bit higher, and this one up a little bit higher as well, and this will need to be moved up. And now I've got room for my robot's mouth. So I go to shapes, I go to this here, left click and drag. Obviously it needs to be moved, turned, and moved over into the position. Great. Now I just need to put a bit of decoration on my robot's body and then change the colours. So I'll go to a rectangle, left click and drag, and now I'm going to go to shapes again and put in some circles, left click, Control C, Control V, Control V, and now just put them into position. There are two more things to do. Go to Control A, Control A, right click, go to Group, and group all of the shapes. Now your robot can be made smaller, smaller again, and all the groups change equally. The last thing you need to do is press Control S to save your work. I hope that after watching this movie you can now say, "Oh, I know it now."